Okay, so Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. We're going to read this book, The Quiltmaker's Gift. Tell me, how do you see it? Okay, you see it? So you can select this view right here. Oh, that's a down. Oh, let me put it on, let me pin it, okay? And I'm going to, not this one. Let me find my page and I'll pin my page. Okay, so that should be it. Bismillah. Okay, so here we have our layout. Bismillah. There was once a quilt maker who kept a house in a tiny misty mountains up high. Even the oldest great-great-grandfather could not recall a time when she was not up there sewing away day after day. Here and there, and whenever the sun warmed the earth, it was said she made the prettiest quilts anyone had ever seen. The blues seemed to come from the deepest parts of the ocean, the whites from the northernmost snows, and the greens and purples from the abundant wildflowers, the reds, oranges, and pinks from the most wonderful sunsets. Some said there was magic in her fingers. Some whispered that her needles and cloth were gifts of the bewitched, and still others said the quilts really fell to earth from the shoulders of passing angels. Many people climbed her mountain, pockets bursting with gold, hoping to buy
one. You already started. How much is
hoping to buy one of her wonderful quilts, but the woman would not sell them. I give my quilts to those who are poor and homeless, she told all those who knocked on her door. They are not for the rich. Look at this beautiful, here's a night on the street of her town. On the darkest and coldest nights, the woman would make her way down the mountain to the town below. There she would wander the cobblestone streets until she came upon someone sleeping outside in the chill. She would then take a newly finished quilt from her bag, wrap it around their shivering shoulders, tuck them in tight, and tiptoe away. Then, the very next morning, with a steaming cup of blackberry tea, she would begin a new quilt. Now, at this time, there also lived a powerful and greedy king who loved nothing better than to receive presents. The hundreds of thousands of beautiful gifts that he got were never enough. When this still wasn't enough, he ordered his soldiers to search the kingdom for those few people who had not yet given him a gift. Over the years, the king had come to own almost all of the prettiest things in the world. Throughout the castle, from the bottom to the top, in drawers and on shelves, in boxes and in trunks, in closets and in sacks, all of the king's countless things were stashed. Things that shimmered and glittered and glowed, things whimsical and practical, things mysterious and magical, so many, many things that the king kept a list of all the things he owned. So look at all these different things, and you can see him over here. He's keeping a list. And yet, with all these marvelous treasures to enjoy, the king never smiled. He was not happy at all. Somewhere there must be one beautiful thing that will finally make me happy. He was often heard to say, and I will have it. One day, a soldier rushed into the palace with news about a magical quilt maker who lived in the mountains. The king stamped his foot. And how is it that this person has never given me one of her quilts as a gift, he demanded. She only makes them for the poor, your majesty, the soldier replied. And she will not sell them for any amount of money. Well, we'll see about that, the king roared. Bring me a horse and 1,000 soldiers, and they set off to the quilt maker. But when they arrived at her house, the quilt maker merely laughed. My quilts are for the poor and needy, and I can easily see that you are neither. I want one of those quilts, the king demanded. It might be the one thing that will finally make me happy. The woman thought for a moment. Make presents of everything you own, she said, and then I will make a quilt for you. With each gift that you give, I will sew another piece. When all of your things are gone, your quilt will be finished. Give away all of my wonderful treasures, cried the king. I don't give things away, I take them. And with that, he ordered his soldiers to seize the beautiful star quilt from the quilt maker. But when they rushed upon her, she tossed the quilt out the window, and a great gust of wind carried it up, up, and away. There it goes, up and out. The king was now very angry. He marched the woman down through town and up another mountain where he had his royal iron maker shape a thick bracelet of iron. Then he chained her to a rock in a cave of a sleeping bear. Once more, the king asked her for a quilt, and once more she refused. Very well, then, the king replied. I'll leave you here, and when the bear awakens, I'm sure he will make a very fine breakfast of you. Later, when the bear's eyes opened and he saw the woman in the cave, he stood on his mighty hind legs and gave a roar that rattled her bones. She looked up and saw him and sadly shook her head. It's no wonder you're grouchy, the quilt maker said. You've nothing but rocks, and with my shawl, I'll make you a great big pillow. And that is what she did. No one had ever been so kind to the bear before, so he broke the iron bracelet and asked her to spend the night. Look, there they are all snugly in the cave. Now, although the king was very good at being greedy, he was very bad at being mean. All that night he could not sleep for thinking about the poor woman in the cave. Oh my, what have I done? He wailed. So he woke up all of his soldiers, and they all marched in their pajamas up to the cave to save her. But when they arrived, they found the quilt maker and the bear having a breakfast of berries and honeys. There they are. And the guys in the pajamas. Now the king completely forgot about feeling sorry and became angry all over again. He ordered the royal island makers to build an island barely big enough for the woman to stand on her tiptoes. This tiny little island. Once again, the king asked her for a quilt, and once again she said no. Very well, the king replied. Tonight, when you're too tired to stand and lay down to sleep, you'll drown. And the king left her alone on a tiny island. Shortly after he left, the quilt maker saw a sparrow flying across the great lake. A cold, fierce wind was blowing, and it did not look like the poor bird would make it to shore. The quilt maker called on him, and he stopped to rest on her shoulder. The poor, tired sparrow was shivering, so the woman quickly made him a coat from scraps of her purple vest. And when he was warmed and the wind had stopped, the bird flew off. But he was very grateful to the quilt maker for what she had done. Soon the sky darkened and the air filled with a huge cloud of sparrows. Thousands of wings beating together, they swooped down and lifted the woman up with their little beaks and carried her safely to shore. There she is, being elevated to the shore by the birds. There she is with her new friends. Again that night, the king could not sleep for thinking about the woman on the island. Oh my, what have I done? He moaned. So he woke up his sleepy soldiers again, and they marched in their pajamas down to the lake to set the woman free. But when they arrived, she was sitting on a tree limb, sewing tiny purple little coats for all the sparrows. So let me hold it up. You can see them all in these cute little coats. I give up, the king shouted. What must I do for you to give me a quilt? As I said, the woman answered, give away all of the things you own and I will sew a quilt for you. And with each gift that you give, I'll add another piece to your quilt. I can't do that, cried the king. I love all of my wonderful, beautiful things. But if they don't make you happy, the woman replied, what good are they? That's true, the king sighed, and he thought about what she had said for a long, long time, so long that weeks went by. Oh, all right, he finally muttered. If I must give away my treasures, then I must. The king went to his castle and searched from top to bottom for something he could bear to give away. Frowning, he finally came out with a single marble. But the boy who received it smiled so brightly in return, the king went back for more things. Eventually, he brought out a pile of velvet coats and went out to the town, giving them to people dressed only in rags. All were so pleased that they marched up and down in a street in a grand parade. Still, the king did not smile. Here they are in having a parade. Next, the king fetched hundreds of waltzing blue Siamese cats and the dozen fish that were as clear as glass. Then the king ordered his merry-go-round with the real horses to be brought out. Children cried with delight and cartwheeled around him, and just the face.
Should I switch the internet?
The king looked about him and saw the dancing and merrymaking and all the happiness his gifts had brought. A child took hold of his hand and pulled him into dance. Now the king really smiled and laughed out loud. "How can this be?" he cried. "How can I feel so happy about giving my things away? Bring everything out. Bring it all out at once." Meanwhile, the quilt maker kept her word and started making a special quilt for the king. With each gift that he gave, she added another piece to his quilt. So the king kept on giving and giving. When at last there was no one left in town who had not received something, the king decided to go out into the world and find others who might be in need of his gift. But before he left, the king promised the quilt maker he would send a sparrow back to her each and every time he gave something away. Morning, noon, and night, the wagons rolled out of town, each piled high with the king's wonderful things. And for years and years, messenger sparrows flew through the quilt maker's windowsill as the king slowly emptied his wagons, trading his treasures for smiles around the world. These are, oh, I think my camera froze. Give it a second.
This internet is unstable.
You how you're glitching.
His things to get smiles from people. I know, just give it 1 second. It's just a short glitch. Okay, can you see it now? Yes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very
Okay.
frozen, but yes.
Okay, it should work in a second. Sometimes it just happens sometimes. Okay, so on and on the quilt maker worked, and piece by piece, the king's quilt grew more and more beautiful. Finally, one day, a weary sparrow flew into her window and perched on her needle. She knew then that there was the last messenger, so she put the final stitch in the quilt and started down the mountain in search of the king. After a long search, she finally found him. The king's royal clothes were now tattered and his toes poked out of his boots. Yet his eyes glittered with joy and his laugh was wonderful and thunderous. The quilt maker unfolded the king's quilt from her bag. It was so beautiful that hummingbirds and butterflies fluttered about. Standing on tiptoe, she tenderly wrapped it around him. "What's this?" cried the king. "As I promised you long ago," the woman said. "When the day came that you yourself were poor, only then would I give you a quilt." The king's great sunny laugh made green apples fall and flowers turn his way. "But I am not poor," he said. "I may look poor, but in truth, my heart is full and bursting, filled with memories of all the happiness I've given and received. I am the richest man I know." Nevertheless, the quilt maker said, "I made this quilt just for you." And you can see inside all of the beautiful stitchings of different imagery of the things he gave away. "Thank you," replied the king. "I'll take it, but only if you'll accept a gift from me. There is one last treasure I have left to give away. All these years, I've saved it just for you. It's really quite comfortable," the king said, and just the thing for long days of sewing. From that day, the king often came to the quiltmaker's house in the clouds. By day, the quiltmaker sewed the beautiful quilts she would sell, and by night, the king took them down to the town. There, he searched out the poor and downhearted, never happier than when he was giving something away. The end. So anybody want to say what they felt and what happened with the king? Anybody want to say what's the moral of this story?
So there was a king, like he like, so there's a woman, she lived back in the mountains, and she used to sew quilts, but then there's like a king, and he always wanted gifts from people, but even if he got like 1,000 gifts or big presents or something, that he'd still not be happy. Then one day he knew about the woman in the mountains that made quilts, and then when the king asked about like can he have the quilt, she said it's only for the poor, and then she said, and if you only want it, you have to give all your presents away to the people, and then you can get a quilt. But then he punished her in some way, like he put her in a cave with the bear, but the bear didn't eat her, and then he felt so bad, so he went to the cave, and then she wasn't in the cave, but she was having breakfast with the bear, and then when he saw her, he said, "Can I have a quilt?" And she said, "Remember what I told you? Only if you give your things away, then I'll make you a quilt." But then he punished her again because he wanted a quilt. And then after that, he felt bad when he woke up. So he went to her, and then he saw her in a tree, and then he asked, "Can I have a quilt?" And she said, "I only make it for the poor, and if you want it, then you have to give your things away." And then he thunk about it for a moment, and then he said okay. And then he kept giving all his toys to the people in need, and then when he was done giving all the things, she when he gave toy by toy to the people, she made piece by piece, and then when she was finally done, he was finally done giving all the presents, and then yeah, that's the end.
Okay. Okay, Alia, we just read the story, and then somebody just also reiterated the story. Thank you very much. What was your name? Who just said that?
My name is Asia.
Oh, Asia. Allah Mubarak. Thank you for sharing. You remembered all the details. Who else wants to share what is the moral of the story? Like, what did we learn? How did the king change in the story?
So basically, whenever he had like way too many things, and he was never happy, and he wanted something that wanted to make him happy. So one of his soldiers told him about a quilt maker, and at the end, whenever he received the quilt, he said he looked poor on the outside, but he felt like the richest man in the world because he felt so happy giving away to people, and he said that was like the happiest moment for him.
Yes.
Like giving is the best thing.
Yes, yes. So he found in the end that giving brings happiness, whereas taking didn't give him the happiness he was seeking. And he thought if he could just get more and more and more, then, you know, it would finally make him happy. And Allah even promises that in the Quran. This is how we're created, that we think, oh, if the more we just want more, and we want more, and we think that it's going to be that thing that's going to give us that happiness. But actually our happiness and our contentment is with Allah and following the way of the Prophet, which is the way of sacrifice, the way of giving, the way of loving others. So Ayla, do you want to make a comment about your observation from the story?
It's actually pronounced Isla.
Isla. Okay.
The moral is to give to the people that are poor, and people that are poor, they don't have much, so you need to give to them, and the king just want to keep everything. He want to have everything in the world, and the quilt maker said she only makes quilts for the poor. So, and she was good because she made the quilt for people that didn't have anything, like anything to keep them warm, or like you could use it as like a picnic blanket to put all your stuff in.
Yes.
It'd be nice to do that, but the king wanted it, and he wasn't poor, so
Right.
he didn't get one, so he gave away all of his stuff, and then he wasn't poor, but he didn't have much, so he got the quilt.
Right. That is a good point we didn't mention before, was that she only gave it to people who really needed it. So, and people who were poor, they didn't have warmth, they didn't have comfort, and they were lacking in those means. So that is a good point. Okay, so last person I'm going to call on is Inaya, Khalid, and Yusuf, if you wanted to make a comment, and then we're going to start the craft.
We had a sewing class and knitting class, and she read that story to us too.
Oh, really? Oh, that's nice. Mashallah, good. Okay, so you know the story, inshallah, it's imprinted in your heart. Okay, so Bismillah. Okay, so let's begin. If you have construction paper, excellent. If you only have drawing or computer sheet white paper, no worries. We're gonna turn it into art. Are you ready? So pick the color. Let me show you the sample. This is kind of what a quilt square looks like. So quilts are a number of, quilts are a number of different squares that are stitched together. So this is like represents one square of a quilt, and then it would be multiple quilt squares. So we're gonna make one quilt square. But you can also, if you want and you choose to, you can make a bunch of, like, you can make a set of 8 squares or 9 squares, so you have a row of 3 and 3, and then you can make details and patterns on each one. But for today, we're just going to make one quilt square. There's many ways to design it, but I want you to pick out your base color. So as you can see, the base color on this quilt square, I picked pink, but on this one tonight, I'm going to use purple. So if you have just white paper, no problem. Just still follow the same instructions, and we're going to just use your pencils or crayons to give each section colors and things like that. If you have a question, maybe put it in the chat and I'll see it.
You can also raise your hand.
Yeah. No, I see there's 2 people raised hands, but as I give the instructions, I can't always keep up with the participants. So maybe just put it in the chat, and then unless it's something you really need to comment or have a question, then just unmute yourself and go ahead and say it. How many papers? Okay, so I said if we just have 3 different colors, that would be enough, okay? But if you have other colors on hand and you have a pack of construction paper, then that will be that will work out just fine. Okay, so participants, I saw hands up. Okay, so Harris, yes, what's your question? No? Ayla, question? Okay, let's just, I'm sorry? Okay, so first we want to begin by making a square. So I want you to take your paper like this, and to make it a square, instead of measuring it, what you do is just take one corner from here, and we're just going to fold it over so that this line over here lines up. But I don't want to make a hard crease. I'm just using that so that it's going to make a square, because when you do that, then you'll have equal sides. So then I'm just going to run my pencil along the edge here. So I know that when I open this, from this section here is a square, because we want it, quilts are made of squares. Okay, so there are a bunch of squares that are sewn together. All right, so that's the first step. Does that make sense? Makes sense. I know I'm chopping up right now. Oops. Okay, let's see. Okay, so did that make sense to everybody? Say Bismillah if that makes sense to you, that of how you're going to turn your rectangle into a square. Bismillah? Okay, makes sense. Okay, good. All right, so now we're gonna have a square. All right, I'm gonna move these things also out of the way so I have a clear contrast from the background.
I'm not sure I did mine correct. Is this correct?
Let me see. You. 1 second. Is that you, Harris? Yes, yeah. That's right. So you folded it there and then just make a line. So from the top. So then that will show you, that will turn it.
From here. Where the
no, here, let me do it again. Look, look here. So I have this paper here. It's a rectangle, but I want to turn it into a square. So I'm just going to take one corner from here and I'm going to fold it over to this corner. And then I'm going to make the line here. And then I'll cut that off. Does that make sense? Yeah?
Yep.
Should I do it again?
No, it makes sense now.
Cool.
How do you fold it?
You just, okay, so look, you take the corner and it's a rectangle. It's a, this is a vertical rectangle. So it's going up and down. And then you're going to take a corner from here and you're going to just fold it into itself like this until this line over here is matching up right here. And this is matching up right here. So this corner will meet over to this corner right here. And this will be a straight line right here. And then what you'll do is just make a line here and cut off the extra. If that seems like a way you don't want to do it, you can also just measure it with a ruler. So if you want to, you can also just measure. So if you want it to be 6 by 6, or you see how wide it is, you can make it, this is 9. So you can just cut it and then make a line at 9 and cut 9 by 9. So that's up to you.
My paper, when I'm folding it, it's a little hard to like align how you did it.
Really?
Yeah, like, this is my paper.
Okay, I think just lay it down flat in front of you like this. Yeah. And then just take the corner, are you right-handed?
Yes, I'm right-handed.
Okay, so take the left-hand corner on the bottom and just fold it up. Turn it up like this until it lines up with the right side over here.
Until it lines.
And then just crease it because maybe that's just making it hard that it's puffy. So just fold it down a little bit. Yeah? You're basically just making a triangle. Think about it like this. Look, you're taking it and you're turning it into a triangle from corner to corner. But you have this extra part, so it's making it triangle-y. So we want to take off this extra bit. So you take it from this corner and you're turning a triangle. Yeah? Okay, Muzakkir and Yusra, I see you got your square. Is that it? You got your square? Excellent. Inaya, Khalid, Yusra. Excellent. I see your square. Jumra Jada, how's it? Yay, squared out. Squared up. Let's see who else we got here. Let's see. Okay. So I can't seem to expand the gallery too well, but okay. So from here, inshallah, what I want to do is plug in my light. So that's right. Okay, inshallah. So now what I want to do is take another color because I want to have a contrast color. So I have, yeah, you did it there. You did it. Now cut off that extra top part right there. You did it. Okay, so now we're gonna, this is my back, this is my surface of my quilt. So now I wanna take, and I wanna make a bunch of squares because from the squares, we can cut triangles and we can make other shapes, okay? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my ruler, but I'm gonna show you another way if you don't wanna take your ruler. So I'm gonna make, I think, 2 by 2 inch squares. So I'll make a little line at 2 inches and then I'll draw a line. And I'll make a few rows, I think. So 2 inches. So I can do it here and I can make a line at 2 and then a line at 4 and then a line at 6. So 2, 4, 6 and make the lines 2 inches apart. So I have, this light is going dim on me. Okay. Okay. So now I have one, let me make my lines darker so you can see mine. Okay, so I made these lines 2 inches apart, 1, 2, and 3, like that. And then I want to make we've done this before in another class. We did these squares, so we cut them out. And then I'm going to do 2, 4, and 6, and 8. So all of these will be squares. So I'm going to show you another way if you don't have a ruler, how to do it, okay? So I'm going to cut these out and use these as squares, okay, for my thing, for my quilt. But if you don't want to do it like that, just take a piece of paper and fold it over roughly the size you want. Just fold it like this and then cut it. Cut off that extra piece right there. Okay, so look at this here, this piece. And then I'm gonna just fold it in like 1 into a square shape and 2. And from those creases, I'm just gonna cut the squares, okay? And then once you have your square shape, you can just stack them up and measure them and make more squares. So does it make sense? You want me to do that again?
Yes, so you make 2 by 2
That's what I did.
rows on your yellow one?
Yes. But if you don't want to do that and that seems like a hassle or it's not your style. Okay, but those who might not have a ruler, then just fold your paper over to about the size of your squares that you want to use. Some might want to use bigger squares. Some people might want to use more like a mini and do more detailed work. So depending on the size of your patterns that you want to put in your quilt, just fold your paper and then do like I just showed you. I'm just going to try and pull up another light. This one is failing me.
I'm still on the part where you have to cut out the part of the triangle.
Oh, no. Okay, listen. I'll show you maybe another way to do it. Do you have a ruler with you?
Yes.
Okay, so then just measure it. Just do like make it 8 by 8 inches. There you go. Just cut off that top part right there.
Tell me what to do.
Yeah, you got it.
How much squares do we need?
How many squares? Yeah, let's try and have like try and make a page full if you can.
I'm trying to
I don't even know how to fold.
We can hear you. We can hear that.
I'm just trying to put on the light. Okay, now I have this light here. It's better. Inshallah. I have been blessed with light. Yes, alhamdulillah.
Sister,
Okay.
would you
Yes.
you know how you told us like with your you told us with your paper to fold it and then you like just turn it into squares instead of using the pencil. Do you have to keep doing that over and over until you finish that paper, or do you have to just do it once?
You can just, I'm only gonna make this many yellow ones, and I was thinking I'm gonna do a few green ones too. So I'm gonna do a few rows of green squares. You can maybe do 3 rows of each, like say, so I'm gonna use purple, and I know I want my color scheme to be purple, yellow, and green. That's gonna be my color scheme, my 3 colors. So purple and yellow are complementary colors. They're across each other on the color wheel. So they always go together. And then green goes very well with it as well. It's a cool color and it's kind of in between. So these are the colors I'm choosing. And inshallah, so I'm gonna make, this is my base, my purple. And then I'm gonna cut out some yellow squares and I'm gonna cut out some purple squares. I do not have my final design planned. We're doing this together. This is unfolding live here, okay? So I'm gonna make a few of these squares, and then once we have our squares, we're gonna play around with the design and come up with a pattern that we like. Okay, so how do you fold it? So I took the paper, say I have this construction paper, and I want my square to be about this big. You see this size, the part that I folded over? So I folded it over and I creased it like this. And now I'm gonna cut that off like this. Okay. And then I want, okay, so I have like a strip like this. Okay, if I want, I could go like this. So look, it makes it even, but that looks more of a rectangle. I'm not going for that. I'm going for a square. So a square means it's equal, right? Width and height. So this is about the height. So I'm gonna make the width about like this. And I'm gonna fold it again on itself like that and fold it again. And then when I open it, I'll see on the creases where to cut. So I'll just cut these out. And if you just have white paper, just do all these same steps with just plain paper, drawing paper. And then in the end, we can put like beautiful words, or have you seen the Zentangle patterns where you have many different types of patterns? We can put and illustrate. You can illustrate even things, very meaningful things. Quilts tend to be very sentimental. They're very sappy. People put all kinds of feelings. They put mementos, like they put like their children's old jeans from when their child was 6 or played their first baseball game, and they use that fabric to make a quilt. So they're very sentimental. So
what do you do after you cut out this triangle?
Okay, you opened it, right? Now it's a square, right?
Like
Yeah,
this.
you did it. Very well. Good, good. So now you're gonna cut shapes. You can cut squares, you can cut triangles, and you can cut circles. So cut out some shapes. We're cutting out squares right now, okay?
Yeah, but right, I only have the square, and I see you're putting more teeny squares by pencils. How do you do that?
Okay. All right. So let me do it on another color so I can show you from scratch. Did you use a ruler to make your square?
Yeah, I use a ruler.
Okay, so we're going to use a ruler again. Okay. So what you're going to do is go to the end of your paper and go and match your paper up to 2 inches. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. And you're going to make a little line where the 2-inch mark is. And then you're going to go, so it's 2 and then 4. So then you're going to make a little line where the 4 is and a little line where the 6 is. Okay. 2, 4, 6. And then you're going to turn your ruler the other way and you're going to make a strong line. So you're going to see that's your cutting line. Okay. So now I have 3 lines and they're 2 inches apart. Okay, so you do that, and and everyone else should be cutting out their squares. Inaya, Khalid, and Yusuf, is it clear to you now? Did you find your way? I think I didn't answer your question, but.
I have a question too.
Okay, ask.
So I have a square paper. And I have a full paper that I did not cut at all with equal squares on it.
Okay, so cut those squares out. Start cutting them.
Okay.
Cutting them out. And if you want to have another color, because like I know I want to have more than just yellow on my purple. So then also you can think about making squares, but you can also make circles, or you can, oh, one thing I didn't add was like for these dots here, I used a hole puncher, and I made like these confetti with the hole puncher. I made these little paper confettis and I stuck them on. So, and then here I cut out little strips and I cut out little hearts. So you can also just be creative. Like I said, I don't have a design scheme. I'm just gonna give you, we're gonna have the elements for us to play around and make a design that we're happy with, okay? But one thing, there is kind of a principle, I guess, if you see quilts, that they tend to be symmetrical. Usually, you know, they have a kind of symmetry to them, meaning that they're balanced. So Zaria, are you good? Did you make your way with those squares?
Not yet, because is it 2 inches when you have to make the lines?
2 inches, yes, 2 inches apart. Yep. And then Taha, I see you got ahead. So now what you can do, Taha, is you see this square right here. If you have a bunch of squares, you can also cut them in half diagonal. So now I have triangle. Okay.
I basically did 3 inches.
So you can try and play around with your triangles and your squares and make some patterns that you think looks very stylish for you.
Sister,
Okay.
Sister Wajiha, are you,
Yes.
you know how you have 3 colors and your base color is purple, and
Yep.
you have 2 more papers left. Do you have to do 3 rows of both the 2 papers?
No, you don't have to. If it's easy for you, go ahead with it. But you can just do 2. I know I'll use more yellow, and then green and orange might be like my accent colors. So I'll probably make less squares. It's going to be purple and then mostly yellow patterns, but with my accents are going to be green and maybe a little orange. So I'm going to I'm going to make less of those squares. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you got it. Good, good.
Teacher,
All right. Yes.
where do you start from for making the lines?
Oh, from the edge of the paper. So always start at the edge of the paper, okay? And then just line up your end of your ruler with it from the 0. And then you go up to 2 and you make a little line, and then go to 4, make a little line, and then to 6 and make a little line, and then turn your ruler and then just make a strong line across. Does that make sense?
A line.
I basically I did 3 inches by mistake.
That's fine. Yeah, my original square was also larger than 2. So so those who have squares, go ahead and make squares from some different colors. And then what you can also do is cut your squares in half to make triangles like I did. And then you can make these different pinwheel shapes and patterns around on your quilt. Imagine you're making this quilt for someone you love, and you want it to include a message, okay? So just have some person in your mind as you make this quilt. Just like the lady did, right? She had a person in her mind to give it to somebody who was cold and somebody who was needy. So you can have someone in your mind as you make your design. You want to give it to your mom, your grandma, your dad, your sibling. Okay, so now I have these shapes. So far we have one big square And we have a bunch of tiny squares that we can also make into triangles. Okay.
Is it okay if I just have squares?
Yeah, you can go with just the squares. But also, let's see, Inaya, it depends if you want to glue it. I would wait until you know you have your whole design ready that you want. Right now, we're just assembling various pieces we can design our quilt with. So these are our design elements, okay? So we're creating a bunch of elements that we can now use to then play around with the design. So I would say don't commit, you know, too soon to your design. Maybe I'll also think about making some circle shapes. Like I have something around that's like a circle. I could trace it. I like it to be a nice crisp circle. I have this jar. I think I'll take these pencils out and I'll use this jar.
You have
So,
do you have to cut all the squares into triangles, or
no, you don't. Look, this is my original one. So this was just something, I didn't follow any pattern. I first made a triangle and then I thought, okay, this is light blue. I want to use a dark blue. I don't want it to be only light blue and pink. I want it to be dark blue and light blue. And then I wanted to have green. So first I decided to put a square in the middle. And then I had these squares and I put them into triangles and I put 2 on each side. And then I added these strips to make this crisscross pattern. And then I cut out hearts and added those. So this was just a spontaneous design. And I'm also gonna just make a spontaneous design tonight. And all of you should do the same thing. But you can't do that if you don't have your design elements. So first be patient and take time to give yourself squares, rectangles, and circles, and or hearts, or like strips of paper. You can also cut out like confetti shapes. You know the confetti shape, it looks like a streamer. Get creative, okay? Think about out of the box. Maybe you want to put hot air balloon on yours. Maybe you want to cut out a shape that looks like a house, okay? Cut that shape out. Maybe you want to cut out a shape that looks like a lantern or lights or a window. I'm not sure, but use your mind, be creative, and think of some design that you like. Okay, does that make sense, everyone?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yay. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm done. What should I do?
You're done with what? Everything?
No.
What did you do so far, Ms. Ecker? Oh, you got your squares, yay, and you got your base. Good job, Daria. Okay, now you're gonna make the lines go the other way. Okay. So you did it one way. Now turn your paper and do it the other way, 2 inches apart. So you get squares.
I did that already.
You did that?
I did that already.
So if you have squares and you like your squares, you can lay a square in the middle. Like say you want to start there. And then I want to think about how I'm going to design. So I also have these triangles. So I can maybe put these here and just start laying out your designs in different ways you can do it. This looks very cool. I like it, but I'm not crazy about it. So let's see like what else I can do. Maybe I can put this way. You can also put squares in different directions so they have a different impact. But I think I definitely want some orange with this. So I'm going to pull in some orange somehow. You can cut out any type of shape. Maybe you want to cut out, you know, in the story she talked about those birds. You could cut out like a bird silhouette, or you could cut out like a chair, right? It had the throne in there, or a pillow or a bear. Don't stick to just squares and triangles if you don't want to, but they are a good place to start because it gives you a chance to think about laying out with color and making shapes and patterns. Fun? Okay, so I'm gonna also make some circles and see if I want to use them, or I'm not sure, but I'm gonna try it, okay? Because what you don't try will never happen, right? You have to try. I'm not sure, but I'm gonna try.
Is this good?
Let's see. Brilliant. Yes, you did it. Now cut those out.
Oh, squares.
So now I have this circle, right? But I don't really want to just use a circle. I want to use the shape maybe differently. So I'm going to fold it, I think, in half like this. And then I'm going to fold it again. So I get this kind of round triangle shape. And then when I open it, I'll just cut it on those lines. So, and then I'll see
the design we want.
I'm sorry, excuse me. Can you say that again?
Should we glue the design we want?
Well, do you have your design all laid out the way you like it? Okay, good. Don't glue yet. First design your pattern. So these are some design elements I have so far. I have a square, okay, and I have these triangles, which I might use like this somehow. And then I have these quarter circles. Maybe I'll put those in there like this. I like it. Yeah. And then there's so much purple, but then there's no purple. So I want some purple to connect the background to the foreground. So I'm going to somehow cut out some purple shapes that I'm going to put on top of this piece in the middle. And then I'm going to probably add more yellow around the edge. Inaya, Khalid, Yusuf, you're done? Like done? Let me see. I'm coming to find you. This is how
only one.
With
My
one.
brother's done.
Oh, that's super beautiful. Everyone, check out Inaya, Khalid, and Yusuf's work.
That's
Wow,
actually
an amazing Aztec inspired pattern. That's ancient, an ancient design. I love it. How beautiful. Yes, fun. Okay, so now I'm gonna go back in with my purple. I need to find some purple, which I cut off. And I'm gonna put something in there. Yes, okay. So it's pretty amazing. By assembling a number of little shapes, basic shapes, you can actually come up with the most intricate design. And it's actually a reminder about art in general, that in any time you break down art, you'll see that it's just a number of straight and curved lines or basic shapes. All art breaks down into basic shapes: squares, circles, rectangles, triangles. But it's like when you see it all at once, it mystifies you because it's all put together. But once you look at it very closely, you can deconstruct the art. And this is what you're doing here. So.
Oh my. I got my design laid out.
Yes? Who said that? I want to hear you.
Me.
It has a big yawn. Let's see.
Me. I have my design laid out. Hey, Nani. Can you cut out the correction, but you cut out a few
Harris, how's yours going? Fun? Good.
Need the scissors, or I'll just use knives.
So I'm sorry, I may have forgotten about somebody who is working with white paper. So I want to honor you, your persistence in making art from scratch, from pure flat paper is the ultimate artistic challenge. So let's say you have a paper that is white, yeah, and you're working with that. So what you're gonna wanna do on this with your shapes, you're gonna cut out your shapes and then you're gonna do patterns on them with your colored pencils and your crayons. And it could be very, very beautiful. Like it could end up being the most beautiful because you have a simplicity with the background and then it really brings out your designs. So give that a chance.
This is gonna be a tiny mountain. Flower mountain.
I've cut all of the squares out.
Great. Oh, good job. Okay, now, Lee, you can cut some of them in half diagonally so you can get like a triangle, okay? So if you do it, if you cut it this way, you can get a triangle and then you can start making shapes and patterns.
On my square paper. On the square paper?
No, the little ones, the little squares. The little squares, you cut those out.
I cut those out, but where do I put them?
Oh, you lay them on your paper on the bigger square and you start to make a pattern. Yes. Lay the little squares on top of the big square and try to make a pattern with it.
What?
Don't use my grains.
What if you want to add some other kind of shape which other than square?
Oh yes, I encourage you to do that. A square is just a good starting point for someone who doesn't maybe know where they want to start. But if you know what you want to do, then you should do that.
But where do you get the other shapes from?
You cut them out. You draw them, or you can just cut them out from your mind with your scissors.
Yeah, but from which paper?
Oh, from another paper. So pick a different color. Yeah, pick pink or green. Pick any other color. Yeah?
Should I glue it? Mine is laid out.
Yes, once you have your design and you've laid it all out, I just messed mine up, but once you design it and you lay it all out, then you start gluing it down.
Sister Wajiha,
Yes?
I'm supposed to start gluing.
Excuse me, I couldn't hear you.
Are you supposed to start gluing?
Oh, if you have your design ready, then yes, start gluing.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Can I see your pattern, your first pattern you made?
Oh, sure. I'll put it here.
Wow. Maybe I can get some ideas from there.
Yeah. And you can think about maybe some of your favorite clothing designs or some of your favorite curtain designs or maybe some patterns you have around your house that you like. And you can also think about those to let those inspire you as well.
Yeah, okay.
Mm-hmm.
When?
I wanted to keep the stick of a spoon. Yeah.
So then it's just sticking it down, gluing it. So if you're ever doing a really, really intricate collage, one trick is to, once you lay it out, then take a picture of it. And then you know what it looks like before you take the pieces off. And another trick is, don't take all the pieces off. Just leave them in place and then pick them up one by one to glue them. Otherwise you can forget, oh, where did I put this? Where did I put that? I forgot. And glue sticks are pretty merciful. Like mine was a little crooked, so it lets you still sort of move it a little bit. Even if you stuck it down and you find, oh, it's a little crooked, just like lift it up gently from the corner and you can still kind of move it around a little bit. Inshallah. Also, if you feel like you're done, but you're not, like you want to keep doing art, you can also draw on each of your sections. You can draw different patterns, or you can write messages or words, things that inspire you, quotes, thoughts. You could talk about the moral of the story. You could write on there, it feels better to give than to get. Or giving is really getting, right? When you give, you're actually the one getting. And the Prophet ﷺ taught us that, right? He taught us that what you give away in charity is actually the only thing you save, subhanAllah. That's the thing that you're saving for the hereafter. So all the things that we keep for ourselves, those are the things that we lose. But the things we give away, that's stored for us in the hereafter, subhanAllah. It's totally opposite from the way we think. We think the more we gather, the more we have. But the more we give, actually, the more we have, subhanAllah. This is the way the prophets teach us. True logic, real logic. We think one way, but they teach us, oh, that's not the right thinking. So we have to listen. May Allah help us. Where are all my friends coming from tonight? Where is everybody? I know we have a lot of California people. Where else? And if you're from California. California. How is everything out there? I know it's a tough time right now and you're on a lockdown, right? Is everybody all right? Where do we have? California, Santa Clara, Virginia. Yay.
I live in Illinois.
Illinois, okay. So is it cold there? Like us? We got snow. We got a big snowstorm the other day.
It is cold. Yeah, well, the sun's melting. Yeah.
It's melting now? Okay. The sun comes out.
But at night, there's a lot of wild cats. Yeah.
Wild cats?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. How big are they?
And we have cats. There's a lot of boy cats. But
oh.
We live in Texas.
Texas. Okay. Wow.
I live in Texas.
It's X's. That's good. Okay. Okay. You're Owen from Canada. Yay, from Canada. Welcome.
I love and خليها مفتوحة ليا. عايزاها تبقى هنا وهي.
Excuse me? I didn't understand what you just said.
Excuse me?
Yes.
We need to take a break from Maghrib.
Okay.
So we'll be back in a minute.
Okay.
And I'm done.
Don't rush. Take your time. Pray for us.
Show her here.
Pray for the simple quilt makers over here.
Show her quickly.
Okay.
Yes. Look, guys, we got in the duas of that family over there. Yay. We're so blessed. Alhamdulillah.
Go in the taxi right here. Look, no, Samaya can show it. Samaya, go ahead. You want to be like, oh, look, my project. Look, Samaya. Assalamualaikum. Look.
Whoa, Miriam. Is that Miriam or Zainab?
It's the Sumaya. It's a third one.
Oh, Sumaya, that looks so beautiful. It's like modern art. I love it. It's so gorgeous.
She likes it. Look, she just likes
I love it. Allah Mubarak. How pretty. What about you, Miriam and Zainab?
I didn't do mine.
Not yet? Okay.
Go ahead.
MashaAllah. Expressive art. There's no more beautiful art than the art from a child's hand. You can't find it anywhere in the world. It's the most beautiful in the world. It cannot be replicated or copied because it's so pure from the child's heart and the child's mind. It's the best. It's the most valuable in the world.
Almost done.
Okay, I can't wait to see a gallery of everyone's final piece. You know what I want us to do too? Let's name our pieces. Let's give it a theme name, okay? I'm gonna call mine, I think, the Jeweler's Warehouse, because mine looks like, to me, it looks like jewelry. So think of a name for your piece, okay? When you present it, you can tell us your name.
Yeah, I think mine's done. Except I need some of these tiny squares.
New Jersey, woo! Beloveds in New Jersey. All of you are beloveds, mashallah. All of you beloveds.
Do you think we should put these here? Yeah, but
Question?
I'm done.
Yay! Who said that? I'm done.
No, I'm done.
Who said it?
Yusuf again.
Yeah,
Yusuf?
Yusuf out of us three.
Oh wow! I see it. Oh, that's so beautiful. I love how you have clusters. That's a beautiful. It reminds me of a coral reef. If I saw yours, I would call yours the coral reef of the heavenly ocean. I love it.
I made the other one too.
Okay.
Yeah, Yusuf's the only one who has any that's done.
You did really nice. I love the piece.
Our grandmother is visiting from Orange County.
Oh, really? How is she doing? When did she get there?
I mean, when did she got here like 8 days, 8 or 9 days ago. And she had to quarantine, so we taped off downstairs. But then yesterday she got the results.
Mm-hmm.
So now we're hanging out with her.
That's so awesome. And how long will she stay for, inshallah?
Until the 6th of July.
What a wonderful grandma to go through all of that. See how much she loves you? She went through so much trouble. Wow. MashaAllah. There's no one in the world like grandma, right?
I'm staying because
I'm done.
Ooh, who said I'm
Yeah.
done? I want to see.
Nanu is staying.
Just showing.
So she can look at.
Okay, wait, what's your name so I can find you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking for you. I'm searching the box. Yeah. Where are you? Yeah. Oh, wow, look at those colors. You picked my favorite colors. This teal and pink and yellow. What? That's so pretty. MashaAllah, look at those circles and then you add the lines. Gorgeousness. Did everyone see Yahya's? Yahya, let's give it a name, okay? What should we call it?
I don't know.
Let's come up with a name. Who has an idea? Name your piece.
Color Island.
What is it?
Color.
Color Islands. Ooh, I love it. Yeah, it kind of reminds me of a sunset. So maybe like Sunset Island, or which name do you like? Let's come up with some other combinations of words.
Sunset Island.
Sunset Island? Okay, I love it.
I'm done.
Okay, who said I'm done? Who said that?
Yasra.
Yasra? Okay, I'm looking for you. Trying to find your picture. Wait, is your camera on? Oh, I see it. Oh, look at the yellow and the red with the in the black. That is so striking. Look at that design, mashallah. Wow, that's beautiful. I love it. It's so bold. What should we call it? Let's give it a name.
I give it a name.
Yes.
House window.
House window. I love it. Wonderful, mashallah. That's house window. We have house window. And we have jewels from the coral reef, and we have so many others. So who else?
Done.
Done. Who said done?
Isla.
Isla. Okay, Isla. Do you want to present your final piece?
Yes.
Okay.
Hello.
Oh, look at how gorgeous. MashaAllah. That looks like a cozy quilt. I would love to get in snuggly under that quilt. What are you going to call it? Oh, look at the pattern on it. Okay, good. What are you going to call it?
I was just going to call it Love Blanket.
Love blanket. I love that. Everybody needs a love blanket. That's so beautiful. Thank you for sharing. I love the colors, and I love that you took time to draw on the sections too. That's a nice touch.
Sister Wajiha, me and my brother are done.
Okay, who said me and my brother?
Asia.
Asia, I'm coming to find you in these boxes. Where are you, Asia? But is your camera on? I don't see you. Oh, there you are. Okay, Hafsan, Asia. Whoa, bravo. Look at how gorgeous. MashaAllah. Wow, both of you. Beautiful quilts. Do you have a name for them? I can't hear you. You're on mute. I can't hear you, dear. You have to unmute yourself.
I named mine Patternly Patterns.
patternly patterns?
Yeah.
I love that. That's so cute. Patternly patterns. It's like all patterned out. And it's kind of a tongue twister. Patternly patterns, patternly patterns, patternly patterns.
And my brother made this, and it's called Love.
Love. Wow, mashallah. The inspiration for the universe is love. And now we have a love quilt, and we have love blanket, and we have so much love. Beautiful. Thank you for sharing.
I'm done.
Oh, look at that, Isla. Wow, that's so pretty. Do you have a name for it? Do you have a name for it, Isla?
That's Elisa.
Oh, that's Elisa. Okay, Elisa, do you have a name for it?
I like Elisa Dawoodi. Dawoodi is my last name.
Oh, okay. That's a blessed name. Mashallah.
I'm done.
Okay, let's see who else wants to show. Oh, I see Inaya Khalid Yusuf is holding up their. Mashallah, gorgeousness. That's so pretty. Wow, and Muzakkir. Wait, is that Inaya Inaya, or is that you? Inaya, did you? Inaya, what did you name it?
I don't know.
Okay, we'll
She
come
was
up with
thinking
of what?
I was thinking of Shakespeare.
Shakespeare. Oh, that's clever. I like it. It's literary and it's very catchy. Oh, look at Muzakkir. Muzakkir also made a very bold pattern, like the house window pattern.
Done.
Oh, okay, Alia, we're looking at Muzakkir's right now. Muzakkir, did you name your pattern? Do you want to come up with a name?
Done.
Okay. Okay.
The house window.
The house window. You know what? Yours reminds me of the silk root. Like of all the different colors, they're so bold. So maybe we could call it the silk root. And that's beautiful, right? Of all the different spices, because it's so bright and powerful. So Alia, you show me what yours, inshallah. Wow, mashallah, that's so symmetrical. Look at that. And you did the swirls. That's different. Mashallah. What
Mosaic of the sea.
Mosaic of, sorry?
Sea.
That's so beautiful. Miriam and Zainab, let's see yours. Whoa, those are pretty. Those look gorgeous. What are those called?
I don't know. I haven't think of a name for it.
Not a name yet? Okay. Let's call it Fun at the Park. That one looks like a lot of grass. It's green like grass, and then it looks like so fun, like a playground. I love it.
Sister Wajiha, I finished mine. I'm going to show mine.
Okay, who said that? I need to know your name.
Hafsan Asia.
Oh, Hafsan Asia. Oh, look, what did you write on there? Oh, frames for
That's the name of my art piece.
That's beautiful. Wow.
And my sister Fatima made one too.
Oh, really? Can you show?
It's coming.
Yes, it's coming. This one's name is
Called Birdie Scrap.
Yeah, Birdie Scrap.
I love it. That's so pretty. Wow, that makes me feel so at peace. Thank you for sharing. How beautiful.
Welcome.
Muhammad. Wow. Oh, what about you, Taha? Did you show yours? Let's see. Whoa, look at that. That's very intricate. Look at all those. Look at how geometric it is. That has a bold geometric statement. So Taha, what do you want? Did you have a name for it?
Windmill.
Windmill. That's really good. Yes, that is very nice. It definitely inspires windmill vibes. I really like it, Taha. Well done. Does anybody else want to present? Jemray, Jada?
That's me.
Wow. Oh, nice. That is beautiful. Wow. Look at those colors you put. And I see, do you also drew on it, right?
I'm done.
Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful. Jemray, I love it.
Thank you. I'm not done.
Oh, look at that. Oh, that's pretty. That looks like a flower garden. How pretty. Jemray, did you name yours? Miriam and Zainab, that's so pretty.
No. I made mine.
Done.
Oh, let's see who said that. Heartland. Ooh, yeah, Heartland. I love that. Yeah, Heartland.
Can I share?
Yes, please. Who said, can I share? Who said that?
Mary Pat.
Oh, Mary Pat. Oh, where are you? Oh, there you are, sweetheart. Hi.
My sister made one too.
Oh, yay, sister.
She called it Lovely Neighborhood.
Lovely. Oh my gosh, melt my heart. That is a lovely neighborhood. Won't you be my neighbor? Hey, I love it. Mashallah.
I didn't come up with a name of mine.
Okay. Can you put it closer to so I can see the middle piece? Oh, wow. That's beautiful. I love the heart in the center, and that color scheme is beautiful. MashaAllah. What a blessed crew you are. I love it. Thank you for sharing. Any other presenters for our quilt museum?
Yes.
If we were together, we could put all of our quilts next to each other and make a grand mural of quilt love. But let's just imagine in the spiritual way, we're just assembling our quilts together, inshallah.
Except it would get soggy because it's made of paper.
I used a glue stick. It gets soggy when you use the wet glue. You have to, that's why I'm a big fan of glue sticks, even though they're not the best for the environment, guys. That is real. So may Allah help us find the best glue that's good for the environment too, because every single glue stick comes in these plastic cases, and that's a lot. Even if you recycle something, it takes a lot of energy to recycle something. So, okay.
Can I share?
Yes, who said that?
Inaya Rashid.
Inaya Rashid, I'm looking for you. Ooh, look at how pretty. That's gorgeous. Whoa, that looks like a real quilt right there, Inaya Rashid. That looks like a quilt that the Quiltmaker lady made. That's amazing.
You.
Wow, stunning.
I haven't come up with a name yet.
Wow. I think it's spinning to infinity. Spin into infinity.
That's next name.
Okay, ooh, look at that, Miriam Zainab. Look at that. Ooh, that looks like a garden from paradise.
You sure?
Yeah.
This is from Omar.
Sorry?
This is from Omar.
Amr.
Yusra's brother.
Oh, Yusuf's brother. Oh,
Yeah.
that is just beautiful.
My sister's.
Oh, look at that. Oh, that's good job, Amr. Wow, you are mashallah talented, and I can't wait to have you as my student. You are precious. May Allah bless you.
This is called Heartbeat.
Ya Rab. Okay. Wow, mashallah.
This is called Heartbeat.
Heartbeat. I love it. Oh, yes, my heart is beating for your beautiful blanket quilt. How nice. Wow.
Can we turn into blankets?
Yeah, these become quilt blankets. Anybody else want to show from the gallery? We're going to close up. My battery's about to die, so I need to close the meeting because unfortunately my chargers have a life of their own. It's a mystery.
I added to my.
Ooh, look at that. That's beautiful. That is gorgeous.
Oh, mine.
Yeah. Oh, who wants to share? Inaya Rashid. Oh, you shared. Yes. And that was beautiful. And look at that, Muzakkar. MashaAllah. Look at these talented artists creating the fabric of the future for the Ummah. MashaAllah. What about you, Jada? I didn't see yours yet, hon. Did you finish?
I'm almost done.
Okay. Zaria, how are you doing?
I'm still working.
You know, I love your persistence. I see you working so hard and I admire you so much for that. How are you doing that?
I can show you how much I've done right now.
I want to see that for sure.
But I've not glued it yet. I'll show you. Because it's a little off too. It's like right now, like.
Well, you know what? We all just did this by our eyes, by our eyeballs. So it's sometimes a little off. Mine's a little off too.
So I've glued only this one. That's why it's not moving.
Let's see. I'm trying to see you, find you. Oh, wait, your camera's. Oh, I see. Oh, it's a beautiful design, dear. It's beautiful.
Just my camera's a little tilted right now.
Yeah, it's a little wiggly, but I see it. I see it. It's beautiful. So talented, mashallah. Look at that.
Yeah, it's the screen.
Yeah, it's a wiggly screen. Sound out like a boat. Okay, my lovely. So if you want to show, I'm going to close the meeting because that's actually the whole project. And I know my battery's going to die and I don't want to say bye like that, like by just like zapping out. So I want to properly greet you and make sure I see all of your work if you feel like you'd like to share it. Look at that. Oh, yeah, mashallah. That's so beautiful. Isla's over there making dua. Look at that, mashallah.
I'm still working on mine.
Okay. Oh, look at that, Jada. Wow, that looks so pretty. Wow, that's gorgeous. Look at that design. I love it. MashaAllah. Okay, my love. So just a reminder to all of you, next week, inshallah, we're going to start. And I have actually a special reader who's going to come in. So I have a reader who wants to read the book, Alif Bat, oh, Bismillah Soup. Yes, the book is called Bismillah Soup. And so she's going to read that. And I'm also going to, either read or she's going to read a story from Ayat Jamila. And then we're going to do an art piece. So I'm going to announce that on this week. So however we're connected from your family, from the Instagram or WhatsApp, however we find each other, then inshallah, you'll hear about it this week. Yes. Some people, yeah, Bismillah Soup, I think is a very popular book. I never read it before, but now I'll have the opportunity. Oh, good. Yeah, you already have it. Oh, look at that. Inaya. Oh, Khalid, is that your piece? Whoa, that's so pretty. Did you give it a name? I love the colors. Yes, Alia, you can go now, hon. It's closed. We did the whole project together. And yeah, you are all like quilt makers. You should go make intention to warm someone's heart today with your I think it's a lot of my connections.
Assalamualaikum.
Walaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum khairan. Walaikum assalam. Good, huh?